Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today I will analyze the NBA illegal gambling scandal. First I'll look at the background of this case, move to the timeline of the crime, then offer my analysis. This story involves several people accused of crimes. 3 of them are high-profile individuals. Chauncey Billups was a professional basketball player in the NBA from 1997 through 2014. He was extremely successful and considered a star player. In 2021, Chauncey became a coach. Damon Jones played in the NBA from 1999 to 2009. Later, he worked as a coach for 3 years. He was considered a good player, mostly known for three-point shooting, but never a star. Terry Rozier is a basketball player who played in the NBA since 2015. He goes by the name Scary Terry. His talent has been described as respectable, but he is not an elite player. Now moving to the timeline of the crime. In 2023, the FBI and the New York City Police Department started investigating illegal gambling involving people associated with the NBA. On October 23, 2025, 2 indictments were released which involved 2 different gambling schemes. 31 defendants are named in the first indictment and 6 defendants for the second indictment. 3 defendants appear on both indictments, so there were 34 distinct individuals indicted. I will summarize both indictments, starting with the first one, which was filed on October 9, 2025. This indictment includes Chauncey Billups and Damon Jones. Starting in 2019, 31 conspirators engaged in a complex fraud scheme to rig illegal poker games. These games were played in various places in the United States, including New York City, East Hampton, New York, Las Vegas, Nevada, and Miami, Florida. The conspirators invited victims, many of whom were wealthy, to these rigged poker games. The victims knew the poker games were illegal, but they thought that every player was on equal footing. That is, they did not think anyone was cheating. In order to attract victims, the conspirators had a few well-known former professional athletes participate in the games. These players were referred to as face cards and included Chauncey Billups and Damon Jones. The conspirators used several methods to cheat during the poker games. They deployed shuffling machines that were rigged to read the cards in the deck and predict which player at the table had the best poker hand. This information was relayed to an off-site operator who communicated by cell phone with the person at the table, referred to as the quarterback. The quarterback then signaled other members who were playing in the rigged games. The conspirators used electronic poker chip trays that could covertly read cards, card analyzers built into decoy cell phones that could detect which cards were on the table, and playing cards that had markers visible only to individuals wearing specially designed eyewear, like glasses and contact lenses. To make sure the victims paid what they lost in the game, members of organized crime families would threaten and intimidate them. So this case involved the mafia. They would also protect the rigged games from competition. Overall, the rigged poker scheme cost victims at least $7.15 million. Now moving to a summary of the second indictment, which was filed on October 16, 2025. This indictment involved 6 conspirators, including Damon Jones and Terry Rozier. In the United States, there are betting companies which will accept wagers on basketball games and other sporting events. Various types of wagers exist for someone looking to place a bet. One type is referred to as a proposition bet or prop bet. This is when a person bets on an occurrence or non-occurrence during a game, even if that event does not directly affect the game's outcome. For example, an individual might wager that a particular player will score over or under a specified number of points. From December 2022 to March 2024, the 6 conspirators named in the indictment, along with other people, participated in a scheme to defraud the betting companies. They did this by obtaining non-public information related to NBA games. This information was disseminated to others who placed bets on the conspirators' behalf. The indictment offers a few examples. On March 23, 2023, when Terry Rozier was playing for the Charlotte Hornets, his team was playing against the New Orleans Pelicans. Terry informed a conspirator that he was going to remove himself from the game in the first quarter due to a supposed injury. He was not going to return to the game after this. This, of course, would greatly affect the number of points he could score, as well as other metrics like rebounds. This information was not included in the NBA injury reports. Nobody knew about Terry's plan to leave the game early. Proposition bets and other wagers were placed based on this non-public information. On the next day, March 24, 2023, the Portland Trail Blazers played the Chicago Bulls. A man not named in the indictment, whose career details matched those of Chauncey Billups, told a conspirator that the Trailblazers would be tanking the game to increase their odds of getting a better draft pick. This information was shared with other conspirators who bet on the Chicago Bulls to win. The Bulls ultimately did win the game. It is worth noting that Chauncey Billups, whether he was the unnamed conspirator or not, was not named in this indictment. On April 6, 2023, the Orlando Magic played the Cleveland Cavaliers. Non-public information was released about how the Magic would not be playing its entire starting lineup. Conspirators bet on the Cleveland Cavaliers, who ultimately won the game. A few other games were mentioned in the indictment, including those involving the Los Angeles Lakers and the Toronto Raptors. These games featured conspirators sharing non-public information in order to place wagers. At the time I'm making this video, the alleged conspirators featured in the indictments are working their way through the criminal justice system. Now moving to my analysis. Here are my thoughts on a few areas that stood out to me in this case. Item number 1. According to the lawyer for Chauncey Billups, Chauncey is a man of integrity, and men of integrity do not cheat or defraud others. The attorney for Terry Rozier also commented on the situation. His name is James Trusty, which is a curious name for an attorney. James said that Terry is a man who doesn't gamble and who has a great case. Item number 2. Much of the betting documented in the second indictment was related to proposition bets. These bets are controversial because they can be rigged with just one person being involved. They do not require a conspiracy among teammates. For instance, Terry Rozier did not need any conspirators when he allegedly pretended to be injured in the first quarter of that game. He only needed conspirators to place bets for him. Item number 3. Some of the people allegedly involved in the conspiracy were professional athletes or former athletes who earned a lot of money during their careers. For example, Chauncey's net worth is estimated to be at least $35 million. Damon is worth $10 million, and Terry is worth $12 million. This has led to the question, why did the alleged conspirators get involved with rigged poker games and illegal proposition bets? They certainly didn't need the money. There was a lot to lose and very little to gain. Here are a few possible motivating factors. The men were sensation-seeking. Many professional athletes have this trait. It contributes to the desire to be an athlete in the first place. They didn't care about the money. They just wanted to enjoy the thrill of committing crimes. The men wanted to feel like big shots. One of the locations for the rigged poker games was a $17 million 6-story mansion near Washington Square Park in Manhattan, and a few of the alleged conspirators were organized crime figures. Maybe the men felt like tough guys and important to society. A sense of entitlement could be a factor. The men believed that they were superior. They had the right to rig poker games and place illegal bets. Greed could be a factor. Even though many of the conspirators had millions of dollars, they wanted more. Perhaps their money management skills were inferior, so they were not as well off as expected. The men may have had cognitive distortions, which involved overestimating their level of skill. They had been rewarded handsomely for playing basketball. Maybe they incorrectly assumed they had skills in other areas, like illegal gambling operations. They also could have rationalized their behavior, saying things like, everyone cheats in gambling, or the victims were going to lose the money one way or the other. Why not give it to me? Now moving to item number 4. Some people look at the alleged offenses in the indictments and think, this is terrible. These men should go to prison for many years. They have committed offenses that caused great harm. How dare they use their status as celebrities and NBA insiders to take advantage of innocent gamblers? Other people view the situation differently and have adopted an attitude of disinterest. They have asked the question, why should we care about any of these people? After all, the victims in the rigged poker case knew they were playing illegal games, so they were taking their chances. Could those victims really expect a fair game when playing under those circumstances? The people who bet on the basketball games should have known that corruption is rampant in sports betting. Did they really believe that no player would ever tank a game or pretend to be injured? As far as the betting companies who are ripped off, they engage in a distasteful business that really doesn't need to exist at all. They are not sympathetic victims either. I think this attitude is a promising sign for society in the sense that it reveals disgust at the gambling industry. It is also good news for the alleged conspirators. There probably won't be a massive outcry from the public demanding justice in this case. These alleged offenders are looked at as impulsive and unwise, people who threw away everything for no reason, but not as a plague on society. Now moving to my final thoughts. Over the years, I have covered many cases that feature wealthy celebrities committing crimes with sensation-seeking motives. I'm not talking about murders made in the heat of the moment, like based on an affair, but rather things like financial crimes and drug use. The types of careers represented include athletes, actors, musicians, politicians, and other people who were handed a lot of money early in their careers. Many of these people had some type of skill. Even so, one could make an excellent argument that many were overpaid. They were compensated disproportionately to their actual abilities. Furthermore, these people were frequently told that they were fantastic and significant to society, like they had some greater purpose. They were not ordinary people. Receiving largely undeserved riches and glory may seem like a dream come true, but it often turns into a nightmare that never ends. The individuals can't handle their finances, can't handle the fame, and come to believe that they deserve everything. They take risks without truly understanding what is at stake. To them, nothing in the world is a gamble because they can't lose. When a person has spent a lifetime being told they're special, they start to believe the rules don't apply to them. In the end, when the thrill fades and the consequences come rolling in, they are left with the knowledge that every gambler eventually discovers the house always wins. Those are my thoughts on the case of the NBA illegal gambling scandal. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon.